Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another episode of Inspiration Talks. I'm very excited about today's episode. I have a very special blogger with me today. She is an American based blogger. Her name is Anam. She blogs about motherhood. She has 3 kids. So let's discuss in our today's episode how she manages her kids along with her blogging. So before any delay, let's welcome her. Assalamu alaikum, Anam. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too, Anam. So, Anam, can you give us a short intro about yourself?
So, as you guys know, my name is Anam. I'm 26 years old. Like she said, I'm based in the US, and I basically just talk about the highs and lows of motherhood. On my blog, I have 3 kids, Hamza, Zoe, and Mimi, and they were all back-to-back babies. So I share my journey with that too on the blog. That's originally how I started blogging. I have been married for 6 years now, and I started this blog when I got married, but it just grew once I had kids.
Okay, that's great to know about it. So, Anam, can you tell about COVID? What do you think are the pros and cons of COVID? Like, it's more than 2 years now, and COVID is still there, and there are like different sort of restrictions going around the world. So, do you think about COVID?
So, of course, I don't like COVID at all. I feel like as someone who has gone through pregnancy and the pandemic, it was one of the toughest times in my life. Just not having access to, my family when I go in for appointments, or even during the delivery, only one person could be there physically. And even if that person left the premises, they were not allowed back in. So we had to be very strict with that. For the kids, I feel like the cons were that they couldn't go to preschool or kindergarten because it was COVID. And my first child, she has an autoimmune disease, so she is really high at risk for catching any type of illness, let alone COVID. So when COVID hit, we were really strict with her that we didn't send her to pre-K, although she's very social. So those are the cons. But the pros were that, we got to be around our immediate family more. And although we were not socializing as much, we spent a lot of time with family. And I think that is the only pro. I'm sure a lot of other people think that way too. But it's a pandemic. I hope it ends. And inshallah, I know a lot of lives were lost, but these were the pros, these were the cons. And I hope that, inshallah, in the future, this is not there.
Yeah, inshallah, hopefully it won't be there, as if everything is getting improved day by day. So, Anam, as your blog name is As Told by Anam, so what made you feel like to keep your blog name as Told by Anam on Insta?
Yeah, so I came up with blog name, I'd say 6 years ago, like I said, Shadi ke baad.
Yeah.
And it was this cartoon back in the day called As Told by Ginger. It was on Nickelodeon, I think. Yeah. And usi se mere mind mein bas, I don't know, aa gaya, because it flows my name well. Actually, I think a year or so back, I changed my blog name to my own name. But sabne message karke kaha ke we don't want that. We want your As Told by Anam name back. So phir maine rakh liya, now it's stuck. So people know me as this name, not as my own name. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I like it. Good luck for me, because mere usi se followers, zyada bade the, because they were loyal to that name and that blog. So I'm hoping to keep it that way. I have no need to change it at this point.
Yeah, exactly. There is no need to change when people know you by that name. So basically, obviously, name to change nahi karna chahiye. Okay, so now let's revive some childhood memories. So when you were a kid, आपका favorite subject कौन सा था?
Mine was definitely English. And, shuru se, when I was a little kid, even towards teens, college mein itna kiya nahi. I left college pretty early, so I didn't have experience with that. But shuru se was English because of the creative writing aspect. I feel like मैं पहले से books में बहुत interested थी, writing में बहुत interested थी. It just grew more, as I grew older, and as I read more books and just experienced more things with life, and then sharing that online. I feel like it just grew my writing skills even more. अगर मैं I think college भी जाती तो ये मेरी एक skill set होती था. Essays likhna and all that was something that I really enjoyed doing.
Okay, that's great to know. So, Anam, when you were a kid, what was your favorite game to play?
I think my favorite game to play was Ludo because we would play it as a family together, and it just became like that game that we would play together as a family, and it would even if we were having like a busy day or a bad day, would bring us together and we would enjoy. My dad actually started that tradition, you can say. Ludo and Uno, I think, were the two that we played the most.
Okay, Ludo and Uno, they are the best games actually. So
Yeah.
when you were a kid, did you had any nickname?
I did not. No, I didn't have any nicknames. No, I wish I did because I gave all my kids nicknames, but I personally did not.
Okay, you personally did not have any nickname. Okay, that's great to know. So, what is your best memory of your childhood?
I think the best memory of my childhood would be my holidays spent in Pakistan at my Nana Nani's place. I think they are my core memories of my childhood because I remember feeling the happiest and most content in that space, even the most safe in that space because we were immersed in our culture. We were, broadening our horizons in the sense कि जब आप इधर रहते हो abroad, you don't have that culture that you would want to give your kids. So the fact that my parents went out of their way to provide that for us by taking us once a year, twice a year was the best thing for us. Just say, how kids get excited to go to Disneyland and they're like, that's their core memory, Disneyland jana. Ours was this Pakistan jana or nani ki taraf rehna. That was our core memory.
Okay, that's great to know. So, moving on towards the next question. So, were you afraid of anything when you were a kid?
Yes, I'm still afraid of that. So a very silly thing and then very deep thing. दोनों बताती हूँ. So the silly thing is any मैं नाम भी नहीं ले सकती मुझे डर लगता है. I'm scared of any rodent type things like like जो होते हैं. So उनसे मैं बहुत डरती हूँ. I remember there was a time when we were living in an apartment and I saw one thing and I freaked out and I would have been like 12 or 13 and I literally made my dad carry me up the stairs away from that thing. I was so scared. And then a more deeper thing that I'm scared of is definitely losing loved ones. I think shuru se I was very concerned about that. Ke, oh, what happens if so and so dies? What happens if so and so dies? So that was a deeper fear than the other thing.
So, Anam, when you were a kid, did you have any favorite cartoons?
Cartoons, I don't remember, but I do remember watching a lot of Disney Channel. उस time पे Disney Channel बहुत popular था. I would watch जो भी उस पे cartoons थे ना, I would watch or whatever shows where movies were on, I would be watching that. So वो मुझे याद है कि I would watch that a lot. Looney Tunes, I think Nickelodeon पे एक होता था. I would watch that. अब मुझे भूल गया है. I'm sorry. I have like major mommy brain. So वो टाइम अब बहुत थोड़ा याद आता है बट जब आता है तो I cherish those memories.
Okay, so like you remember and then you have like, do you want that time to be वापस?
I think जो time गुजरा है वो गुजर गया है अब and I learned a lot from it. So going back, no, I think I would rather go in the future and see कि मैं क्या कर रही हूँ और मेरे बच्चे क्या कर रहे हैं, all of that fun stuff. So no, I wouldn't want to go back. I would only want to go back for one thing. I feel like I did not say a proper goodbye to my nana. So that's the only time I would go back to and, spend more time with him, say a proper goodbye. Agar, if there was any time I would go back to, it would be the time when before my nana passed away to spend more time with him and say, final goodbyes and all of that.
Anam, as your mother of 3 kids, so how do you manage everything?
I think always having a proper routine, तीन बच्चों के साथ routine होना is so important. I think it was the first time mom and only a mom of one, I soon realized कि routine के बगैर तो कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता. बेशक आप के पास एक बच्चा है या तीन बच्चे हैं, that routine needs to be solid. And what I mean by that is not खाने पीने की सिर्फ, just like their whole daily schedule, if you plan it out a little bit, कि ये कब उठते हैं, ये कब nap लेते हैं या खाना खाते हैं या whatever, just map it out for yourself ताकि you and your kids can have that mental peace के अब आगे ये expect करना है. If you let them know कि आगे ये होने वाला है, they would be 10 times more excited than them always wondering कि अब मामा ये करेंगी या नहीं करेंगी, like that kind of thing. Just like we have pre-planned days, like to-do lists and all of that, our kids want the same thing kind of. They want to have things to expect.
Exactly, you're right. So, what do you think are the challenges of motherhood?
So, I think the biggest challenge for me as a mom of 3 is making sure each child is heard, listened to, understood, and those feelings are validated. Okay? Each child has a different personality, different needs, different wants, and you have to cater to those as a mom. And majority of the time, in our society, it is the mom that is carrying the burden of making sure that har bacha khush hai. Obviously, even if the husband is helpful and all of that, din mein to maa hi hoti hai, unless the husband stays at home and the mom is working. But traditionally, yahi hota hai ki maa ghar pe hoti hai. And even if she's a working mom, she does carry that burden on her shoulders because hum mothers itni wo sensitive hoti hain कि this is a challenge for us to juggle all the different emotions and needs and wants of whether 3 charts factor on our minds. And I feel like zindagi bhar ke liye rahega, but it's something that we sign up for.
You're right. Usually it's said that motherhood is very hard. So why do you think लोग ऐसा क्यों कहते हैं कि motherhood is like once you become a mom, nothing is left behind. Like आप कुछ manage नहीं कर सकते हो. Just you have to focus on the children. So basically, many people consider कि motherhood is really hard. So what do you think about it?
So I think when people say hard, the first thing that comes to mind is somebody once said to me that being a mom is like taking your whole heart out of your body and putting it out into the world and setting it free, kind of. और जब वो निकलता है बाहर, anything can happen to it, right? There's a safe zone inside of you. Just like a baby is in you, it's safe, nothing bad is going to happen to it. But when you let it out, it's a free for all. Anything can happen, good and bad experiences, dono. Health can go up and down, so you have to be prepared for that. So in that sense, it's very hard. But I feel like if we're talking about our society, the mothers in our society, I feel we make it hard by either not accepting help or the right help is not given. And by that I mean that जो आपका एक village बना हुआ है ना लोगों का around you, whether that's friends or family or siblings or whatever, they need to be prepared to see she's a first-time mom or she's juggling 3 kids. Let me help her out in some way. बच्चों के साथ नहीं, लेकिन वैसे ही company दे दो, do stuff for that mother. If you see mom, help her out. No mom can do it on her own. I feel like she needs that help and reassurance. अगर कर भी रही है ना कोई mother, वो honestly पागल हो रही है because she's doing so much at the same time and she needs her own time too. And in that sense, I think people, even women, us women, we say कि it's so hard, but it's so hard. मैं ये कैसे करूँगी because I cannot even handle myself or one child. How am I going to handle, a child or multiple kids, like that kind of thing. So if we help each other, then, and if we don't set expectations on mothers to be like super moms, then and then only it won't be hard, I think. And I'm blessed, alhamdulillah, I have a village around me that helps me a lot with the kids, obviously. Without them, I don't know what I would do.
So you're right, actually, everyone should support each other. That's the actually great point. What's the one thing which you think you do differently as compared to the other mothers?
Yeah. So I feel the thing that I do differently is the tarbiyat I'm giving my son and daughter both. I feel like we put so much emphasis on the way we raise our daughters in this society, and ye isko is tarah hona chahiye, isko ye aana chahiye, that we don't put the same emphasis on the sons, right? Yeah. We just say boys will be boys, they'll do what they do. Isko nahi cheezein utha raha, nahi saaf kar raha, that's okay. अब आगे जाके भी इसको करना नहीं पड़ेगा, right? But लड़कियों को करना पड़ेगा, right? This is what our society basically says. That's a standard. But what I'm doing is मैं अपने घर में कि अगर मैं कुछ कर रही हूँ तो इनके बाबा भी कुछ कर रहे हैं. अगर जोई हेल्प कर रही है सफाई करने में तो हमजा भी करेगा. It's an equal thing. Same goes अगर ये आगे जाके they have to learn certain life skills. It be equal for females. Like whatever, even job, education, all of this, it's equal in our house. It's not different for her and different for him. You know what I mean? So I think in that sense, I'm a bit different on that approach, and some people might consider that a bit odd or unorthodox, but this is the way I'm going about it.
Okay, so I actually completely agree कि दोनों equal होने चाहिए, दोनों को equal यानी कि सिखाना चाहिए. That's actually I feel like you're doing nice thing on this because usually in desis it is considered कि लड़कों को नहीं सिखाना चाहिए, लड़कों को ज़्यादा सिखाना चाहिए. So this is good thing which you are doing is really nice thing. Moving towards the next question, what is your favorite go-to recipe which you think is very easy for you and also kids love it?
So I'm not much of a cook, but I recently, started making paratas for the kids, and they love meetha parata, so they always request that from me. And I'm so blessed. Majority of the time I'm getting food sent from my parents' place, and then my husband also cooks. So I'm blessed in that sense. But mera wo मीठा पराठा तो खाते ही हैं, and I do like baking for them as well. So cupcakes, cakes, cookies, all of that I can make really well for them. But आगे जाके I'm hoping जब भी मेरे पास free time होगा to learn some quick and easy recipes. But yeah, that's the easy go-to recipe that I use.
Okay. So what is the best advice you have gotten on motherhood, which you still remember?
Okay. So when I was very young, मैं बहुत opinionated थी and still am. But basically, like I told you, my favorite memory was a childhood memory was at my Nana Nani's place. It was because of the fact that मुझे इतनी importance दी जाती थी. So my best advice was given by actually my Nani, and she would say कि give the child's opinions importance, so that child gets that confidence to share their opinions with you. And aage jaake, once the child is like a preteen teen, they share their secrets or their talks with you openly. They don't shy away from telling you stuff, because होता है ये हमारी सोसाइटी में कि बाज करके बच्चे जो हैं वो they don't share, they hide it, right? And they say कि no, mama's gonna get mad at me or baba's gonna get mad at me. But इस तरह नहीं होना चाहिए. And ये confidence मेरी नानी ने मेरे अंदर डाली है, जो आगे जाके I really want to give that same confidence to my kids. And I feel like this starts at a very young age. As soon as the kid starts expressing themselves, I feel like we should put that confidence in them that we are their safe space. They can come to us, they can talk to us, share their opinions, and majority of the time they are saying 100% the truth, because kids are very innocent. Whatever is on their mind, they say it. So yeah, that's the one advice that I got that I still remember, that बच्चों की बात को importance दें.
Exactly, you're right, and actually it's the best advice. So moving towards now, let's imagine and inspire. So if you win a lottery ticket, how will you spend the money which you will get?
So basically, आजकल मुझे ये realize हो रहा है that we're so distant from our relatives, right? Our loved ones.
Yeah.
ये तो it's a dream, right? Lottery ticket win करना. So apart from obviously giving charity and all of that, वो तो obviously इतना पैसा आए तो you would give. But apart from that, I would love कि अगर एक जगह पे मैं अपने सारे family members को घर लेके दूं, and then they stay there and we live there and enjoy there and all of that. But yeah, that would be a dream that I would want to come true with that lottery money. जो भी निकलेगा.
That's actually a great thing which you want to do. Like this is very something, it's very different thing which you said कि सारे एक ही साथ और एक ही like area में. I really like that idea. So if you had a time machine, would you go to your past or in your future?
So I would go to my future. I would want to see what I'm doing, मेरे बच्चे क्या कर रहे हैं, and how far we've come as a family, मैं शुरू से बहुत family oriented थी, so I think I would want to see how we've grown. Basically, that's it. कि हम किस point पे आ गए हैं and all of that. Being young level इतना नहीं है, so I'm always dreaming about कि आगे क्या होगा, बस आगे क्या होगा. So we don't take the time to stop and focus on the present. But for sure, opportunity magically koi mil gayi, so I would definitely go in the future.
Okay, you will go in the future. So, Anam, you get a chance to live anywhere for one whole year in any country. So, what country will you choose?
With or without kids? That's the question.
Oh my God, with kids. Or do you want without kids? You want your me time?
अगर दोनों दोनों दे देती हूँ.
हाँ, दोनों ही.
Kids so definitely with kids definitely Pakistan, because a lot of our, like, my in-laws are there, our extended family is there, so I would definitely want my kids to have that bond and experience with them, right? And I love it, so I would go and stay there and live there. But without it, I don't know what it was, but I visited Ireland when I was a teenager with my family, and I fell in love with that place. It was so beautiful. It looked like it just came out of, like, a picture out of heaven, basically, because it was so green and so many fresh flowers, and the markets were so pretty. I would definitely want to just go there and, stay in a beautiful cottage or something like that. It would be like a dream thing without kids.
Without kids, so without the hustle and bustle of the kids.
Yes, yeah.
You get a chance to be a fictional character in a TV show or in series. So, what character would you like to be?
I am a big, I think, Harry Potter fan, so definitely I would want to be, in one of the movies or something like that, or be a part of it. But yeah, I think that's the only character I wish to play ever. Yeah.
Okay, so इसी से if I ask you, अगर magic real होता, so would you like prefer Harry Potter the magic, like what magic spells were being used in the books of Harry Potter?
I don't know if you're familiar with it, but in the movie there is like this way of transporting yourself from one place to the other, and I think it's called flu powder or something like that. Yeah. So you put the powder in there, and then you're like, wherever you need to be. So I wish कि ये होता ताकि मैं डाल के वो पाउडर जो है वो कहीं पे भी पहुंच जाऊं. That would be amazing, but I don't consider that a magical power. Maybe invisibility, ताकि मैं plane के ऊपर invisible होके बैठ के कहीं चली जाऊं. That's an idea.
That's the idea which I also wondered. Invisible clock is also like good, right? We can wear and we can go somewhere. Doesn't matter. If you get a chance to be on a reality TV show, what show would you like to prefer?
I watch really stupid ones. So I think शादी से पहले मैं चाहती थी कि मैं इस टाइप पास राइट, क्योंकि हमारी शादियां थोड़ी सी डिफरेंट होती हैं. But there's this show called The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, ठीक है, जिसमें वो लड़कियां लाते हैं या लड़के लाते हैं. One person has to pick from all those girls, right? They're basically meeting all those girls and then picking कौन सी है जो is the one, whatever. आज की इस तरह रिश्ता प्रोसेस भी होता कि आपके सामने सारे आदमी ड्रेसअप होके आ जाएं and you get to talk to them for like a day or two or whatever. You pick the one, then that's it. But that's a show. That's not real life. The one thing I liked about that show was जो कपड़े वो पहनते थे, because the girls would always wear such pretty dresses and stuff, so it would look like you're in a fairy tale. But obviously real life में आप इतना क्या तो नहीं मिलते.
Exactly. कोई भी नहीं तैयार हुआ मिलता except शादीज वगैरह में या parties वगैरह में. So Anam, do you have a desire of languages?
So yes, I have started reading the Quran with tafsir. So sometimes I think that I would really love to learn Arabic, because फिर तो जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ती, because I would already know the language. But I would really, I think Arabic is one of those languages that I would really like to learn and to understand.
Okay, so all the best for Arabic. I really hope you learn Arabic in the future. So Anam, does anyone inspires you?
Yeah, I think my mom is my biggest inspiration. She was actually a young mom just like me, and she had 2 kids, me and my brother, same age difference as my elder two. So we my elder two are 15 months apart. We were, I think, 18 months apart, so same kind of difference. And she actually did way more than I'm doing now. She was living abroad here, starting her life here, and starting from the bottom up. And she basically started her own business when she was, I think, around 23, 24, in her 20s, I'd say, same as me. and she started her business, and now she's been doing it for 10 years, and it's flourishing. So she's definitely my inspiration because she showed me what hard work really looks like, having a good work ethic, and sticking to it and kind of persevering even through the pandemic. She still persevered. She still, got clients, got weddings. She's actually a wedding planner. So she like is definitely an inspiration to me.
So, Anam, what do you do when you get angry? Yeah.
Get angry, of course, and I get angry, like I scream and stuff like that. But obviously, बच्चों के पास थोड़ा सा अपने आप पे control लाना पड़ता है. You cannot be doing that 24/7 in front of the kids. But I think the best thing I do for myself when I get angry is step out of that situation, get some, fresh air, or write about it, or watch a show or anything to just get your mind out of that zone. So yeah.
Okay, so what about stress? How do you relieve stress?
Of releasing stress, it's been there since I was a teen, is journaling. I've kept a journal ever since I was a teenager, and it's helped me cope up with a lot of different challenges that have risen up in my life, especially during my pregnancies or shadi ke baad bhi. You're going through a lot of changes, a lot of growth as a person, especially if you get married young and have kids young. So there's a lot going on up here that you need to let out. And I actually, when I got married, I moved from here. I was born and raised here in America. I moved to Pakistan. So a bit of a culture shock for me. I visited a lot Pakistan, but I'd never lived there. So it was a new space, new environment. Also, shadi ke pehle din the, I had to adjust to that. And then bachche bhi ekdam se ho gaye. So, there's a lot going on in my mind. So definitely journaling helped me cope up with that stress. But I do recommend, I would recommend it to myself too. I need to avail this, but I would recommend getting therapy really helps. I feel like our generation is making more of a point of that. We're seeking therapy, and you don't have to be crazy to get therapy. You can get therapy for anything you're coping up with, whether that's postpartum, mental trauma, or any other trauma that you're dealing with, childhood trauma. You should have that space where you can easily express yourself. But like I said previously in the interview, that this is why I'm instilling this sense of communication in my kids, so they don't have to go to anyone. They can come to me and they can say, this is what I'm going to do. If need be, they can go to someone. Obviously, I wouldn't stop them, but that person needs to be there. Like, I think after some time, I reached that space with my own parents that I can go to them. But shuru mein was very difficult. We had to learn how to communicate with each other.
Oh, okay, I can totally get the point. So what career path do you see yourself in future? Do you see yourself as a blogger or a YouTuber?
Wow, this is a very heavy question for me. I'm at in my life where I honestly don't know. I think I have dedicated these years to my kids, and now I'm coming to that point where I'm getting that free time to explore and think about कि मैंने college वापस जाना है या मैंने career start करना है अपना, blogging को continue करना है. What do I really want to do? So right now it's pending. I have no idea, but I hope जो भी हो उसमें बरकत हो, and it benefits my life, my kids' life, my home life. I don't want it to get in the way of my home life, because I'm very family oriented in the sense that my kids come first and then everything else is like behind that. There's nothing that comes before my kids. So I really do want to continue being a present mom, and if I can find the time to give to myself and my career and my growth, I will sure be giving it. Inshallah, in the future, once my kids go to school, I plan on doing something productive, but abhi tak I don't know. For now, it is definitely blogging and YouTube.
Okay, so all the best for YouTubing and blogging. So any advice for those who want to become bloggers or YouTubers?
So I think the one advice I always give to anybody who reaches out to me is just be yourself. I think we see so many different bloggers and YouTubers that we think हम की तरह बन जाएंगे, मे बी हमारी फॉलोइंग ज्यादा हो जाएगी, या अगर हम उनका कंटेंट कॉपी कर लेंगे, मे बी हम भी इस तरह वायरल हो जाएंगे. No, I think so far all the women that have followed me or engaged with my content or to do so, they do it because of just because मैं वही हूँ जो मैं normal basis पे हूँ. That's just how I am. Difference is कि मैं सिर्फ अपनी maybe day की 15 minutes दिखाती हूँ compared to what I'm doing 24 hours in the day. Just be yourself, and if this is something that you're passionate about, stay consistent. I think consistency is the key. And I think the third thing I would like is build your community online, because if you have supportive friends online, blogger friends online who are doing the same thing as you learn from them. Yeah. Not saying copy them, but you learn from them because you're always watching them. You have seen their growth. You see कि organically वो कितना grow कर रहे हैं, and I feel that affects your work as well and motivates you. अगर आप किसी और को देख रहे हो that they're thriving with the work that they're doing, then you in return want to do good work. You want to put in the hours. If you're constantly sitting and saying कि मेरे से नहीं होगा, या मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगी, या I cannot talk this, you're constantly questioning yourself, you're never going to do it, right? You need to basically push yourself, if this is something that you want to do. If you're just doing it for the views or likes or followers, it's not going to work out. Do it for your own creativity, like let it be your creative outlet, और खुद ब खुद जो है वो followers आएंगे, likes आएंगी, engagement आएगा. So yeah, that's my advice.
That's actually right. I completely agree with you. So here is this small gesture from me to you.
Okay. Thank you, Laiva, so much for this gift and for having me on your podcast. I had so much fun talking to you. Let's chat again soon.
This idea is lovely.
Yeah. Our सबका एक, I don't know. At that question, that's the first thing that came to my mind कि काश इस तरह हो सकता.
वैसे it's impossible thing reality में आजकल, but it's something which is actually very nice अगर it happens, if it's possible also.
Is the heart of the family. That's what mine says.
Both the same.
Yeah. So those two things.
पता नहीं क्यों नहीं real.
पता नहीं कब. Wait. The cloak actually somebody made. You connected with your phone or something, और वो कैमरे में invisible हो जाता है. Like if you're wearing.
Wonder or powder डालें और कहीं भी चले जाएं. Yeah, invisible clock.